Fall in our Northland outdoors. It's truly a time of plenty, from birds to big game, or just enjoying the incredible colors. But if you love to fish, you simply can't ignore the fall.
Right there. Oh, big fish.
And we're going to show you why, right now, on Northland Outdoors.
There's one right off the end of that tree, right where he's supposed to be. Let go. Come on. Yeah. That only took, about 3 casts. Tell you, it's the best time of year to fish, folks. We're in the fall, and these fish really get aggressive this time of year because they're feeding up super hard for the winter months to come. No better time when I see an overcast day with no wind, flat calm. Fall topwater time, baby. I call it the magical misty period of the year, where every morning when you get up, there's a cloud of mist rising off the lake, and that's because the water is warmer than the air. So we got nights in the mid 40s, upper 40s, water temps still 60 or above. So we get steaming lakes in the morning, and it's a signal to these fish. They know, they can feel that water cooling, less sunlight during the day, and they know that winter's coming. So it's time to start putting on the feed bag and getting ready for those cold winter months. Right there. Oh, big fish. Big fish. I could see him come up on the live scope. Wow. Folks, this is why we fish in the fall. Second fish of the day. Look at this monster. Holy mackerel. Oh my gosh, that's a 5+. 5+. Wow. Oh, aggressive, close to the boat even. And just smoked that Berkeley Chopo. It's got such a unique action and a unique sound, and it is a big fish bait. Look at that monster. Awesome. Wow. Show you the map here and show you what we're fishing. This particular lake, not a very big lake, maybe 200 acres. Lots of weed covered flats, shallow flats. The shoreline, as you can see, extends, the shallow water extends well out into the lake before it drops off, fairly gradual drop. Typical Midwestern freshwater lake, bowl-shaped freshwater lake. There is some nice structure in a few spots, okay, but in this case it's just shoreline, weed edge. We're out in about 7.5 feet, right on the edge of that weed line, and then casting up onto the weeds. You can see on the live scope we've got weeds that come almost to the surface, even in, well, we're in 6-7 feet right now. Right there next to the boat again. Another big fish. Oh, I love it. Foot or two deeper that time. Wow. Another big one. He didn't get it by much. Oh, look at that. Another beautiful bass. Now he almost missed it, right? Just barely got him in the tail, but tail hook, but we'll take it every time out. Pay attention to that retrieve all the way back to the boat, because a lot of times fish will just get curious and follow, okay? Won't strike it until a little bit later. It's another 19-inch fish. Awesome. On the Chapo. See ya.
The fall feeding frenzy is on, and there's more topwater action to come when Northland Outdoors returns.
Right on the end. 2 cranks.
Ray's Sport and Marine is your family-owned local headquarters for fishing and pontoon boats. From brands such as Lund, Crestliner, Viaggio, Bennington, and more. Stop in today to check out our great selection of 2025 models and get out on the water this summer. Our friendly and knowledgeable staff is here to help you find the perfect boat. Ray's Sport and Marine, your pontoon and fishing boat headquarters. Now open in Alexandria.
We are out on a splendid Sunday morning. We're gonna go catch some fish.
You come to a place like Devil's Lake and you hear stories. You want to get out there and you want to find a monster.
Everything that you read about Devil's Lake, it's true.
I've been guiding up here for almost 15 years, and it is absolutely the most astounding fishery that I've ever been to, and I've been all over the U.S.
I reeled in the biggest one of my life. That was a pretty special experience to me.
Plan your next adventure at devilslakend.com.
Northland Outdoors is brought to you by Ray's Sport and Marine, when your passion is the water. Devil's Lake, North Dakota. Discover your next adventure. Staybill Mount, rock solid mounting systems. And by Muscatel Burns Ford. Get your next Ford from Ward. Fall fishing. In my opinion, the very best time of year to be on the water. Yes, the scenery and weather can be awesome, but as good as that is, the fishing is even better.
One of the questions I get a lot on topwater, especially buzz baits and chopos, prop baits like this, is how fast do I fish them? And I have my stock answer for that, and what I do is I want to work them just fast enough for them to do what they're supposed to do. So a buzz bait, spinning and staying on the surface. The Chapo is a floating bait, so you can actually work it a lot slower, but fast enough to make that prop spin and give you that unbelievable Chapo plop, we call it. There's a fish, and I got him. He wanted that Chapo plop. Boy, they are just loaded on this weed flat. He was way out on the end. Again, I was just another beautiful fish. Wow. Look at this. Every one of these fish is just gargantuan. Look at this guy. Oh. Careful of those hooks there. Look at this. Oh, it's another 4-pound fish. Too bad we weren't in a tournament today. We'd be putting the hurt bag on them. You see this one? Big female. She's already got her eggs. She'll carry those around all winter, ready for next spring. That's why they call them largemouth. What were we talking about? Oh, see ya. Speed. So, indication right there. A Chapo floats, so you can work it actually slow, but if you work it too slow, the prop won't spin. So, reel it just fast enough to get that beautiful Chapo plopping noise, and that's as fast as I want to do it. Right on the end. 2 cranks. They're really just spread out, and that's typical of this time of year. We've caught fish out to about 8 feet, and that one was up in probably about 4 feet. Another beautiful fish. I'm getting spoiled catching nothing but 4-pounders, so a little 2.5 or 3-pounder like this looks small. And you can see what he was in. Curly leaf pondweed. Lake associations all over the state are trying to destroy it. And I'm sorry, as an angler, I love it. I wish we wouldn't spray for it because fish love it. And I love fish. Pretty color. Look at how dark green. See ya. How about colors on the topwater? Last thing I'm gonna think about. However, overcast is always better than sunny for topwater, although I catch a lot of topwater fish in the sun. Overcast is always better, not so bright up there for them to look up. And when it's overcast, I like dark colors. I love this black. It's got a little orange on the chin. It's a great color when you got some overcast, and that black against that neutral sky just really stands out. And I really like to, when I have these flats, now we're getting to a point, we covered that flat and now we're getting to a point where the deeper water gets closer to shore. So it'll give us an opportunity to work the bank a little bit. But when I'm on these big flats even, rather than stay on the edge, I may start there, but I like to move in and out and in and out, especially when the fish are scattered or I don't know where the fish are. I want to cover all of those depths until I get 2 or 3 fish to give me an indication of what depth they're holding it. There's one smaller fish this time. Still a blast. And he ate it good. Front hook. What are you doing? All your big relatives around here. Smaller fish, and we got in shallower. We're under 4 feet now, so that might be an indication. And that's not uncommon. The shallow fish may be holding a little, or the smaller fish may be holding a little shallower. Deeper fish out toward, or bigger fish out towards the deep end. But we'll see.
We're dialing in the kind of topwater bite that makes for one of those fall days that's hard to forget. And we've got lots more to come.
Oh, I never even turned it.
Muscatel Burns Ford is your Ford truck headquarters in Hawley. Be sure to check out our selection on-site or online. Ask about complimentary local pickup and delivery for your next oil change. We're newly expanded to serve you even faster. New or used for work or play, Muscatel Burns Ford on Highway 10 in Hawley. Hey, get your next Ford from Ward.
This segment of Northland Outdoors is brought to you by Devil's Lake, North Dakota. With something for everyone in every season. Discover your next adventure in Devil's Lake.
Right there. Yeah. Come on. Another shallow fish. And the same size. So I think we've kind of learned now. Shallower we get, little male. Shallower we get, this is where your smaller fish are hanging out currently. Gotta have these though to get the other ones, right? Another quick tip, when you're throwing floating topwaters, so the Chapo's a floater, poppers, frogs, anything that floats on the surface. One of the things I really like to do is I'll make a cast, let it land, and then I'll wait a beat or two. Let the ripples go out a little ways, and then start the retreat. And look what happens. Right there. A lot of times what happens with these, this is a good fish in shallow. A lot of times what happens with these floating baits, especially at Chapo, it's a big bait, right? Look at this beauty. Come here. Oh, golly. All right, first things first, we're gonna scratch my theory that it's only small fish in shallow. He was only in less than 2 feet of water. But a Chapo is a big, heavy bait, right? You can cast it a long way, which is key because you want to get away from the boat when you're fishing topwaters. Beautiful fish. Okay. But a lot of times what'll happen is when that bait hits the water, it'll actually, if there's any fish in that vicinity, it'll actually spook them just briefly. And they'll spook away a couple, 3 feet, and they'll stop and turn. I've seen this on underwater cameras. They'll stop and turn to look at what it was. Now, if you start your retrieve right away, by the time that happens, you've pulled it away from them, they're no longer interested. But if you let it settle, they spook, turn, and then all of a sudden they see that prop going, and you saw it right. That's exactly what happened with that fish right there. As a general rule of thumb with topwaters, you want to train yourself to not instantly react as soon as you see that strike, because what will happen a lot of times is you'll pull that bait right away from them. What you need to do is let that fish come up, and you'll notice if you watch, you see enough topwater strikes. They're going to come from the side, eat it, turn, and head back down. What you want them to do is come up, eat it, and turn, and then you can set the hook on them, because now they've got the hook. Okay, they've come up, they eat it, they turn, and now when you set the hook, you're pulling the hook into their jaw. So it's one of these deals where it's really difficult not to, as soon as you see that splash, just rip it, right? Because that's your natural reaction. But what you want to do is wait just a pause of half a second even to let that fish turn with the bait in its mouth, and then you give them the onion. Good fish. God, I'm sorry. There's nothing more exhilarating than a topwater strike. I mean, it just isn't. The calming plop of the chapo kind of lulls you to sleep after a while, and then out of nowhere, call wham! These fish come flying out of the depths and devour that bait. It's so much fun. And there's nothing more fun, really. I mean, get out, get the kids out. Topwaters are easy to throw, especially prop baits like the Chapo. Now you gotta pick your spots, right? Everything we've covered today is all submerged vegetation. In other words, the tops right at the surface of the water or below, nothing above the surface, because a bait like this with a rear prop and these big treble hooks, if you try to pull it through anything that's on the surface, it's just going to be gummed up and not work. Then you'd have to switch to a buzz bait or a frog or something along those lines. But when you have open, clear, and submerged vegetation like this, it's the easiest bait in the world to fish. Great for kids because you just cast it out and you reel it back, and the fish do the rest. And you want to get a young person excited about fishing, strap them onto a topwater bait and get a topwater bite going, and you'll have them hooked forever, I promise you.
Fish the famous waters on Minnesota's Lake of the Woods, the walleye capital of the world. Choose from over 50 full-service resorts with options for charter fishing, guide service, and full meal plans, or plan a trip and relax in the vast wilderness scenery. From the Northwest Angle to the South Shore, Rainy River, and Baudette, the Midwest's #1 fishing destination. Walleye, sauger, northern pike, and more. Minnesota's Lake of the Woods, best fishing anywhere. Log on to lakeofthewoodsmn.com.
Northland Outdoors is brought to you by Ray's Sport and Marine, when your passion is the water. Devil's Lake, North Dakota. Discover your next adventure. Staybill Mount, rock solid mounting systems. And by Muscatel Burns Ford. Get your next Ford from Ward.
Oh, some nice fish there. Get a real good hook set on them. A lot of times when I don't get a good hook set, I'll try to give them another one. Good fish. Look at that, right in the, oh, cabbage, beautiful cabbage weeds. Hey, another good one, another one that got the front hook. Nice aggressive fish on the Chapo, and nice green early fall weeds. They haven't started dying yet. The fish love them. Let's talk tackle for just a minute. What we're using to catch these fish on topwaters. This is a Fenwick World Class 7-footer, medium heavy but fast action, right? I like that last foot or 18 inches to have quite a bit of play in it when you're dealing with topwaters. That gives that fish an opportunity to grab the bait and turn, okay? But they're still medium heavy. There's still plenty of backbone to get those fish up out of the weeds, and then get good hook sets in them. This is a Revo MGX. This is in 6:4 to 1, which is a pretty low retrieve ratio, okay? But I like that for fishing prop baits like the Chopo or a buzz bait, because it helps keep me from fishing the bait too fast. Oh, I never even turned it. That's a first for me. Oh, so I was doing the settle trick, right? Letting the bait sit for a minute before I started retrieving, and this fish came up and ate it before I even started the retrieve. Wow, another big fish. Come on. Yeah. He just came up and sucked in that back hook. Come here, you. I didn't have it by much, did he? Look at that. That's all that was holding him. I've never had that happen on a Chopo before. Now there's an indication that you've got an aggressive fall bite happening right there. That fish, I tossed the Chopo out, I let it settle like we talked about earlier, the ripples went away, but before I could even start moving it, kaboom, the fish came up and ate it. Classic location here. This is a big weed flat, extends way out into the middle of the lake. Fish love these areas. They hold a lot of bait fish, and obviously then they hold a lot of predators. Wow, that is a big fish, way out on the end. Oh. Stay on, buddy, stay on. Man, what a day. Look at this, another nice, healthy fish. Got himself in some weeds. Get in here. Folks, when we start getting those misty mornings, right? That air temp is starting to fall below 50 into the 40s at night. But the water temps are still up in the 60s, and you have that fog, mist rising off the lake in the morning. It's a signal to fish to start eating, and it should be a signal to fishermen to get out your aggressive baits like topwaters and have some of the best fishing of the entire year. Look at that. Awesome. I love it.